There's something few riders know. The real enemy of your engine isn't time or distance, but how you use it. Your bad habits, the ones you repeat almost without thinking every day, are silently shortening your engine's life. And when that engine finally says enough, getting it running again won't be cheap. That's why today on Moto Sin Filtros, we're going to uncover the 10 habits that are slowly killing your engine, what damage they cause, and how you can avoid them to extend the life of your machine and save thousands on repairs. Here we go. Habit number 10. Only taking short trips without the engine reaching temperature. This is the silent engine killer, the one that goes unnoticed because everyone uses their bike to go to the store, take a spin around the neighborhood, or move a few blocks. It seems unimportant, but it can actually damage the engine a lot over time. Engines are made to work well when they reach a certain temperature. That temperature allows the oil circulating inside to heat up enough to become more fluid and do its job of lubricating, reducing friction between parts, cleaning the interior, and removing impurities. When you take very short trips, the oil doesn't get hot enough, and that causes 3 dangerous things. Moisture builds up inside the engine like when car windows fog up. Unburned fuel residue remains because the engine didn't have time to work efficiently, and acids form that attack the internal metals like rust. All of that mixes with the oil, forming a kind of dirty sludge that sticks to the inside and can clog passages, wear out parts, or cause corrosion. So even though your bike starts and runs, you're shortening its life without realizing it. If you have no choice but to take short trips daily, try at least once a week to go for a 20 or 30-minute ride so the engine reaches its ideal temperature, evaporates the moisture, and cleans its interior naturally. It's like giving it a good breath to keep it healthy. Habit number 9. Revving the engine cold, right after starting. This is the error that wears out your bike the most without you noticing. Many riders do it daily without knowing. They start the bike in the morning, give it a good rev to wake it up, and take off with enthusiasm. The problem is that even though it sounds good, inside the engine is suffering. When the engine is cold after being off all night, the oil that protects and lubricates it is thicker, like honey, and it's at the bottom of the engine, having not yet reached all the parts that need lubrication, like the pistons, bearings, and valves. If you rev it hard at that moment, you're making all those parts start moving fast without proper protection, like running a bicycle engine with no oil on the chain. This produces enormous friction and premature wear that over time can lead to serious failures or costly repairs. What you should do is let the bike idle without revving for about 60 seconds. That's enough for the oil to start circulating throughout the engine. Then start riding smoothly without hard acceleration for the first few minutes, so the engine warms up gradually without being forced. You don't need to warm it up for 15 minutes like some believe. Just give it a breather so the oil can do its job before you ask for performance. Think of your engine like a person who just woke up. Don't ask them to run a marathon without stretching and having coffee first. Habit number 8. Lugging the engine with high gears at low RPMs. Many have been through this. You're riding on a quiet street or a gentle incline, and to save gas, you leave the bike in a high gear even though the speed is low. It seems like a good idea, but it's actually a silent way to punish the engine. This is known as lugging the engine, and it happens when the RPMs drop too low and the engine starts working with difficulty. When you're in a high gear but going slow, the internal parts of the engine, like the crankshaft, connecting rods, and bearings, have to move the whole bike without enough force. It's like trying to push a heavy cart without momentum. That causes strong vibrations felt in the handlebars, excessive effort from the engine working inefficiently, and accelerated wear of important components due to unnecessary load. In some cases, the engine can even stall if it doesn't have the strength to keep running. How do you know if you're lugging the engine? If the engine sound is shaky, rough, or strained, if when you twist the throttle the bike is slow to react or does so with difficulty, and if you feel the bike vibrate more than normal even though you're not going fast, what you should do instead is downshift. That way, the engine will spin a little faster but with less effort, working more comfortably and efficiently. Keep the RPMs within the optimal range where the engine responds smoothly and powerfully, without being overloaded. Forcing the engine in high gears doesn't save gas or take care of your bike. On the contrary, it wears out important parts and makes the engine suffer unnecessarily. Learn to listen to your bike. If it sounds and feels strained, it's probably asking you to downshift. Habit number 7. Constantly running the engine at the rev limit. We've all felt that temptation. Twist the throttle wide open, take the bike to the rev limiter, and feel the engine roar like an unleashed beast. A well-maintained bike can handle it once in a while, but if you do it every day, you're brutally shortening your engine's life. On your bike's dashboard, the tachometer has a red zone that indicates the safe operating limit of the engine. If you go past it often, you're taking the internal parts to extreme speeds beyond what they were designed to withstand for a long time. When you run the engine at the limit, the valves go up and down so fast they can lose synchronization, causing what's called valve float. That can make a valve stay open when it shouldn't, and if it hits a piston, goodbye engine. The valve springs can fatigue, losing their strength and not closing in time, and the bearings and other rotating parts suffer accelerated wear from the heat generated, which can cause internal components to expand or deform, leading to serious damage. Riders who habitually run the engine at the limit end up with power loss, metallic noises, and even broken internal parts. In some cases, that means opening up the whole engine and replacing very expensive components. Enjoying the power is fine, but in moderation. Don't make your engine a victim of adrenaline. Habit number 6. Downshifting without rev matching to equalize RPMs. Using engine braking is an excellent technique to control the bike without wearing out the brakes, but doing it wrong can cause serious damage. When you downshift without matching the revs, what happens is that the rear wheel, which is going fast, tries to spin the engine, which is going slower, and that effort is transmitted like a whip crack through the whole transmission. That difference in speed between the engine and the wheel makes the clutch suffer a sharp jolt, the transmission receive a sudden twist, and the engine rev up abruptly without control. Over time, that constant impact causes rapid wear of internal parts, misalignment of adjustments making the bike not run as smoothly, and some components can break or be seriously damaged. Now, the solution is simple, but requires practice. Right before releasing the clutch when downshifting, give the throttle a little blip to raise the engine's RPMs so they match the speed of the rear wheel. That smooths the transition and avoids those hard jolts, making the shift smooth and your bike respond better. Your engine and gearbox will wear much less, the bike will feel smoother and more stable when you downshift, and you'll avoid unnecessary repair costs. Engine braking is an excellent technique, but only if you learn to downshift correctly by rev matching. These first 5 habits have to do with how you treat the engine when it's cold and how you choose your gears, things that seem like normal decisions but are wearing out internal parts without you noticing. However, the ones that follow are even more treacherous because they directly affect key parts like the clutch, transmission, and cooling system, and most people repeat them daily without having any idea of the damage they're causing. Habit number 5. Riding the clutch in traffic. Many riders, especially in heavy traffic or when moving slowly, tend to keep the clutch partially engaged, neither fully released nor fully pulled in, because it feels comfortable for controlling the bike and moving slowly. But this habit, although seemingly harmless, can cause a lot of damage to your bike over time. When you keep the clutch half pulled, the internal clutch plates don't fully engage, and that generates constant friction between the parts, which wear out quickly and produce a lot of heat. This heat can burn the clutch plates, making them lose grip and causing the clutch to slip, and it also overheats the oil that lubricates the engine and clutch, especially in bikes where both share the same oil. Contaminated oil loses its properties and no longer protects the internal parts well, increasing engine wear. In many bikes, the clutch is inside the engine and shares the same oil, which means if the oil fills with particles from the burnt clutch, the whole engine is affected and can be damaged faster. The solution is very simple. Keep the clutch completely released when you're not changing gears, and pull the clutch fully in only when you need to change gears. To control the bike at low speed or in traffic, Use the rear brake to maintain stability instead of keeping the clutch halfway. That way, the clutch will last much longer without wearing out. The oil will maintain its quality, and your bike will run more smoothly and reliably. Habit number 4. Making abrupt starts by dumping the clutch. Many people like to take off fast on their bike, twist the throttle wide open, and dump the clutch as if they were in a race. But that way of starting can be very bad for the bike, especially for the system that transmits power from the engine to the wheels. When you dump the clutch with a lot of throttle, you're delivering a sharp jolt of force that passes through several important parts of the bike. The clutch discs are pressed violently, generating a lot of heat and wear. The gearbox suffers a sudden impact that can damage the gears. The chain receives a strong tension that can make it stretch or break. And even the crankshaft, which is a very delicate internal part, can be damaged by these sudden forces. If you do this repeatedly, the parts can overheat, reducing their lifespan, deform, losing their correct shape and functionality, or break internally, leading to very costly repairs. If you want to take off fast and powerfully, do it, but with control and smoothness. Release the clutch progressively, not abruptly, and at the same time apply throttle gradually, so the power is transmitted little by little. That way, you avoid sharp jolts, and your bike receives power smoothly, taking care of all its parts. The clutch and transmission will last much longer. Your bike will run smoother with fewer strange noises, and you'll avoid costly repairs. Starting fast doesn't mean damaging it fast. Learn to control the clutch and throttle so your bike lasts longer. Habit number 3. Staying in first gear with the clutch pulled in at traffic lights. When stopped at a traffic light, it's common for many riders to leave the bike in first gear and keep the clutch pulled in to keep the bike from stalling. It seems normal and harmless, but in reality, this habit can damage important parts of the clutch and also put your safety at risk. Inside the clutch, there are parts called the thrust bearing and springs that help the clutch work well, but these parts aren't made to be under constant pressure for several minutes. When you keep the clutch pulled in while stopped, these parts get tired, wear out faster, and can fail prematurely. Besides mechanical wear, there's another risk few people consider. If someone hits you from behind or you lose your balance, your bike can lurch forward because it's in first gear and the clutch is disengaged. That can cause accidents and injuries. The best option is to put the bike in neutral when you're stopped for a long time, like at a long traffic light or in heavy traffic. That gives your hand a rest from constantly squeezing the clutch, helps the internal clutch parts not wear out as fast, and increases your safety because the bike can't suddenly lurch forward if someone taps you from behind. Practice putting the bike in neutral when you stop, and before starting off, remember to pull the clutch and shift into first gear. Although it seems like a harmless habit, leaving the clutch pulled in first while waiting wears out key parts and can be dangerous. Habit number 2. Letting the bike idle for a long time without moving. Have you ever left your bike running while you make a call, wait for someone, or are just stopped for a long time without moving? Although it seems harmless, this can cause significant problems for your bike. When the engine is idling but the bike isn't moving, not enough air is generated to cool the engine. That makes the engine heat up more than normal, especially if you're like that for a long time. Also, the oil that lubricates the engine is affected. It loses viscosity, becomes thinner, and doesn't protect the internal parts as well, which can cause faster wear and damage to parts. If your bike has a carburetor and not fuel injection, the problem can be worse because fuel can evaporate inside the carburetor, causing the engine to stall or run poorly, and have trouble starting or stall unexpectedly. If you're going to wait for more than a couple of minutes without moving, turn off the bike to prevent it from overheating. If you're in heavy traffic and can't turn it off, try to move the bike a little from time to time, even just a bit forward or backward, so air circulates and the engine doesn't overheat. Leaving the bike running without moving might seem convenient, but in the long run, it's harmful to the engine. Turn it off if you're going to wait a long time, or move it a little so it doesn't get too hot. Habit number 1. Ignoring oil changes and stretching them longer than you should. And we arrive at habit number 1, the most important of all, the one that has sent the most bikes to the shop with big breakdowns. and the one that hurts the wallet the most when the bill arrives. Ignoring oil changes and stretching them longer than recommended. Oil is the blood of your engine, literally. It's what allows all the metal parts to move at high speeds, without rubbing against each other, without overheating, and without destroying themselves. But oil doesn't last forever. With use, it gets contaminated with tiny metallic particles, combustion residues, moisture, and acids that form inside the engine. It loses viscosity, loses its lubricating ability, and becomes a dirty liquid that, instead of protecting, starts wearing things out. Many people stretch oil changes because the bike seems to run fine, because it doesn't make strange noises, or because they think synthetic oil lasts twice as long. And yes, synthetic oil lasts longer, but it's not eternal. If the manufacturer says every 3,000 miles, and you stretch it to 4,000 thinking nothing will happen, the accumulated wear during that extra 1,000 miles is real, even if you don't notice it. The problem is that wear doesn't warn you. It doesn't make noise until it's too late. When you start hearing metallic knocking or notice the bike losing power, the damage is already done, and then the repair isn't an oil change. It's opening the engine and replacing parts. Changing the oil on time is the cheapest and most effective way to extend your engine's life. It's much cheaper to buy a quart of quality oil than to have to replace connecting rods, pistons, or the crankshaft. Don't gamble. Respect the intervals. Use the oil the manufacturer recommends, and if you're in doubt, change it sooner, not later. Your engine will thank you with years of smooth, surprise-free operation. There you have them, 10 habits that seem harmless but are slowly killing your engine. The good thing about all this is that once you know them, it's very easy to avoid them. It just takes a little awareness and changing some very simple routines. Now tell me in the comments, which of these habits do you recognize in yourself or in someone you know who treats their bike badly? And if this video helped you learn something new, share it with that friend who urgently needs a wake-up call before their engine says enough. See you in the next one.